Good morning, church.
Good morning.
It is good to be in this room. From the jewel-toned windows to the eternal light, to Marge Rule's banners, to the disciples' screen, and even to the wood floors that have cradled the steps of so many that have come before us. This room is sacred space. This room has seen many iterations since 1912, and there have indeed been a cloud of witnesses that have been a presence and have been participants in these changes. My story is but one of many, those present today and those who came before. My mother attended Sunday school when the church schoolrooms were off the balcony of the annex, which is now your community room, when the church architecture reflected the old Akron plan. She sat in a row of chairs and was taught her religion by an apparently severe woman deaconess who wore only black. To the day she died, she took an immediate dislike to any clergywoman wearing black. When my parents wanted to marry, my grandfather informed my father that unless he joined this church, he could not marry my mother. Needless to say, he joined. The music window on the western balcony wall and below is in memory of that grandfather. My sister and I were baptized in this room. And in this room, our children were baptized. In this room, I gave my mother's memorial service. This room, this church, has nurtured your faith journey as it has mine. For many of you, the ancestors are present here now, moving us onward. Dr. Barbara Holmes is a black woman theologian, and she says of those who have gone before us, the ancestors are elders who pour their lives into the community as a libation of love and commitment. They live and die well, and when they transition, they do so with an engaged community. Thereafter, they dwell in spaces carved out by our spiritual and cultural expectations. They may be in another life dimension, but they connect us in dreams, in memories, and in stories. These ancestors are the clouds of witnesses that offer the connection in dreams and memories and stories that enable us to stand on their shoulders and move into the new dimensions to which God may be calling us. It is time to acknowledge and honor them for their gifts, faith, and good works that have been their legacy to us. Many of the Jesus stories revolve around food, around banquets. Food is necessary to human survival, as our relationship and community. Jesus' actions and teachings honor these needs for all God's children. Filling this need is reflected and lived through this church's story beginning in 1877 with the Ladies' Aid Society, preparing meals, continuing through the Meals on Wheels program to the current community meals. The command to go into all the world has been fulfilled in so many ways. The Women's Missionary Society, the UMW Circles, the support of Laura Schleiman in China, and the Cloyds in Africa and on the Native American reservation. Another command, and perhaps the heart of the gospel, has been to feed my sheep. This has been lived out in so many ways. Nina Weitzman and her nursery school housed here, the Latchkey program, support of Flat Rock, Berea Children's Home, which is now known as Guidestone, support of the Wesleyan retirement communities, the collection of school supplies for Lakewood children, and the support of Africa University. I can only list a very small account of the many and varied ways this church has made real what I consider to be the cliff notes of the Bible. Love your neighbor as yourself, no exceptions, live abundantly, and feed the sheep. But we can't stay in this room. Brian McLaren says to be part of a life-giving tradition brings with it a moral responsibility to make it even better as we pass it on to future generations. We've just celebrated the holidays, the holy days, and families have sat down to the festive tables deeply divided, unable to even tell the stories that they have told year after year at the banquet table. We look out onto a world marked by divisions of all kinds: political, lifestyle, race, economics, social levels, and gender. The Sudan, Gaza, Ukraine, our climate, and so much more are experiencing death and destruction. God must be weeping as God looks out upon creation and humanity. We live in a deeply broken and hurting world that desperately needs repair and healing. Our ancestors in the faith found ways to address the broken places of their time and space. It is upon us to do the same. We cannot remain in a room, no matter how beloved that room is. Habakkuk tells us in his first verse to pay attention to what God is telling us. What is the divine mystery? Is it that the divine mystery is nudging us toward? Our next decision is to articulate that vision God is giving us and to write it down in large print so that all can read it. How very Methodist. And Habakkuk further states that this vision is a kairos event, one of God's timing, not ours. And I love these verses. The vision speaks of the end, it awaits its appointed time, and it will not prove false. It may not come on our clock time or Chronos time. It will come in God's kairos time. But, and it's a big reassuring but, it will surely come. God's promise and call to us is there, clear as this church's bell when it is rung. It is our job to articulate the vision. What is it that we can heal, we can repair? Where is the brokenness to which we are called, those here in this room? How do we write it and make it plain? We cannot bring peace to all the earth, but we can find a place, no matter how small, that we can begin to repair. To do that, we must move out of this room, and as Marge's banner expresses so beautifully, let the Spirit move among us in all our diversity and find the vision that moves us forward. The ancestors represented by the tulle and sparkling beads in the banner on my right are leading us onward. We stand on the shoulders of these ancestors, but we must create our own vision for this marvelous creation and its inhabitants, of which God has made us stewards. This church has done this for 150 years, and now you have the gift and responsibility to articulate a new vision that moves us forward and will be a blessing to the world. The Haudenosaunee Native American nation has a philosophy named the seventh generation principle. Every decision must be made in the context of considering its impact on the next 7 generations. Paraphrased biblically, it might be stated as any choice we make must be a blessing unto the 7th generation. How would that principle impact the vision we articulate to heal the world? What choices would we make for ministries here at Lakewood Church? Write it down large. Once upon a time in this room, it was Christmas Eve, and the room looked like this. In one of the pews on the west side of the room, there sat a family of 4. A mother, a little blonde, curly-haired girl of 4, a father, and on the aisle, a little boy of 3 with brand new saddle shoes. He was entranced with these saddle shoes as they made a marvelous thudding noise when he ran. It was a time of prayer, and the sanctuary lights had been lowered. The little boy saw his opportunity. Out of the pew he darted and ran up and down the aisle, making those wonderful thudding noises, out of the reach of his mortified father. He grinned as he ran, smiling at his father. Finally, after several runs, he reached the chancel rail, leaned over it, and swung back and forth. His father ultimately retrieved him, but not before he had disrupted the service. This little boy grew up and had 3 children. The blonde, curly-haired girl had 2. These children are a nurse, a fireman, a special ed teacher, an animal rescuer, and a plant and environmental conservationist. They stand on the shoulders of the ancestors, but each is offering, in his or her own ways, a healing to the world. And it began in this room. In this room, the spirits of the ancestors reside and move us. In this room, your stories are contained. In this room, God and the ancestors are calling you on a journey forward to mend and heal a very broken world. To what will this room send you forth to do? Amen.